Hi, welcome back. It's me, Mr. Sid. Today I want to focus on two words. Where are they? Aha! Astronomer and astronaut. What is an astronomer? An astronomer is a person who studies space. You are all astronomers because you're watching these videos. An astronaut is a scientist explorer who heads out into space to do the dirty work. Today we're going to learn about young space explorers in this book called Future Space Explorers, The Ultimate Camp Adventure, written by Katacha, Diaz. I should be more prepared for these names. Astronaut training. Welcome to the NASA Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. This is where future astronauts come to take special classes and learn about space. NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration, and this is their symbol. Thousands of men and women apply for the job, but NASA only chooses a few to train. Astronaut trainees learn what it's like to travel, live, work, and float in space. Did you ever think about becoming an astronaut? Then the U.S. Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama is just the place for you. I've been to this place. Thousands of kids visit every year and spend 1 week training in the world-famous space camp. Every boy and girl who attends wants to learn what it's like to be a NASA astronaut. Floating in space. When up in space, astronauts experience something unusual. They float. That's because there is almost no gravity in space. This is called zero gravity because there is this magnetic pull that draws us to the planet. There is no up or down in space, so men and women astronauts must train to work in weightless conditions. Special water tanks allow them to experience what weightlessness feels like. So being in water is about as close as we can get to feeling weightlessness. Since children want to know how it feels for real astronauts to work while floating, junior astronauts in Huntsville practice being weightless too. Experiencing a lack of gravity in the buoyancy tank at Space Camp. Right here, check it out. You've got to put on the full gear and then you get down into the water. Junior astronauts take turns trying out the moon gravity chair. Like the NASA astronauts, these future space explorers experience what it would be like if they were 1/6 of their actual weight. That might just be your leg. Gliding in the air. Astronauts also train on the equipment that they will be using in space. The Manned Maneuvering Unit, or the MMU, allows astronauts to fly free in space without being attached to the shuttle. Cool, right? On Earth, astronauts train with the MMU underwater so that they get an idea of how it feels to work with this unit in space. In water and in space, they feel like they're floating, weightless. Junior astronauts try out the MMU. This equipment gives kids an opportunity to move in any direction or even go around in a complete circle by moving the switches. Later, they will also train underwater in a large pool. They'll swim through hoops and experience what it's like to enter the spacecraft and practice using emergency exits. The crew quarters where they live is a nice, cozy cabin-like. On Earth, they have storage space, stereo headsets, TVs, bathrooms, and sleeping bags. When it's time to sleep, astronauts climb into sleeping bag fastened to the wall. What? Yes, to the wall. If they weren't, the astronauts would lift up and float away while they were sleeping. It doesn't matter if you're on the floor or the ceiling because there's no gravity in space. Junior astronauts explore pretend living quarters at the space camp. The kids get a chance to see what it's like to live in a small and compact place. just like the NASA astronauts do when they're in space. This is interesting. I have a feeling we're looking at the toilet. Junior astronauts visit the kitchen area, exercise area, and the bathroom, and also take turns climbing in and out of their sleeping bags. Clothes and uniforms. NASA uniforms and clothing are designed so that astronauts can do their work comfortably. Astronauts working inside the spacecraft wear pants and knit shirts and flight suits. Astronauts who work outside the spacecraft wear spacesuits and helmets. They get extra training too. These astronauts practice how to do their work wearing bulky spacesuits. Those suits are bulky because they're for their protection from the rays of the sun. Junior astronauts wear comfortable clothes too. They wear official space camp t-shirts and visors. They even learn about astronaut spacesuits. On mission day, some kids actually have a chance to try on NASA-style flight suits while others suit up in the bulky spacesuits and helmets. It all depends on the job they're going to do that day. One thing is for sure, they all are decked out like real NASA astronauts. Check out the pants sitting right there. Look at the wide waist. You have to climb yourself in. The men and women trainees at the NASA Johnson Space Center dream of one day becoming astronauts, just like some of the kids at the camp. The astronauts study math and science. Those who really want to fulfill their goals won't let a little hard work spoil their dreams. Who knows? Maybe some of you will become future space explorers too. I hope you enjoyed this book. Come back for more. Bye, everybody.